Hello, good evening. Welcome to Tuesday Talk at the Pritchard Pub. Don't forget to like and sub to that pub.
Sub to the pub. Tonight we have with us a good friend of mine, M3tro.
Very special guest.
He's one of my oldest friends, and he's a father and a gamer, dungeon master, right? And I consider him a philosopher of sorts. He was telling me about Starfield before the stream. What were you saying? You were like playing a really trippy side quest or something.
Oh yeah. First off, good evening, everyone. So it was just you get this distress call, right? And you go down, and as you kind of get into the mission, you start shifting between realities, and you come to find out that it's different, slightly different realities of the same event. Like they just happened in ever so different ways. And you're basically given this grand choice of choosing which reality to stay in. And so, like,
That's awesome.
this is how great the writing is, I feel, just in that moment alone, because it made me stop and consider so many things, all the implications it could have for, like, the entirety of the game. It's just, it caught me off guard. It definitely,
That
when a
sounds-
game can really grab you like that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Bethesda made my favorite game, which is Skyrim. And I have not heard much from Starfield besides negativity regarding how you can pick pronouns. And then people are like, oh, we want to get away from real life, and this is supposed to be fantasy. It's like, are you really that bothered by it that you can't play the game because pronouns have you hung up? Like,
Yeah.
come on. Anyway, but then I've also seen memes about, what was it? It was some kind of template where he's like, it had something to do with someone calling it Skyrim in space. It was something like, I can't wait to play the new Starfield game. And then someone said, I heard it's like Skyrim in space. And he's like, you don't have to convince me. I already, whatever.
Yeah.
So, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, in essence, yeah, it's like, it's more like a souped up Fallout 4,
Okay.
But
Also a Bethesda game, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and they did well to kind of keep it fanciful and free. Like, it's not just Skyrim in space, It just there's so much to it, like that I haven't even uncovered yet in the like 50 plus hours I've plugged into it. I can tell I've just kind of scratched the surface. So
Oh yeah.
I'm really looking forward to what they've tucked away in there.
Yeah, have you played any of the Elder Scrolls? They're working on 6 now, I heard.
Yes, I am super excited
again,
for
or
that.
something.
I grew up on Morrowind, still my favorite Elder Scroll game.
I never played that or Oblivion, or I just played Skyrim. That's where I started. And then I did do Elder Scrolls Online, which I didn't really like it as much. I mean, it was fun. It was cool to play with people and all that. But I really, really like being Dragonborn, and the shouts just made it for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
being able to fucking yeet people right out of your way is so much fun.
There's something about using your voice as a weapon.
Well, yeah, and that's such a good shout. I think that and Dragonrend are probably my two favorites.
Well, they have a powered skill tree in Starfield too, so
nice.
Something for you to look forward to. It really does feel like Skyrim in space at times.
I probably really like it.
Mm-hmm.
I really had a thing on Skyrim where I did the unusual gem quest.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you complete that, have you done that one?
No, I never got around to
Not many people are going to go around and collect like all those like there's no map marker for them. So you just have to wander around and find them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, unless you have, like you even have the Skyrim Bible, like the guidebook.
But even then, some of them are like, look around. There it is, somewhere in the room.
Yeah, but nowadays they have YouTube and the wikis and stuff. But anyway, I had to look in all locations several times to find them, needless to say. And I finally got it. And you will find, I mean, you'll come across a dead animal and find like 10 gems, or, like it's ridiculous how rich you get after you get it.
Yeah.
So I would fill.
This wolf had 2 diamonds in its belly. What the hell?
Yeah, I would fill this room with all of the diamonds. I'd go out and scavenge, and then I would just dump all of the gems in a pile in this room. And I mean, I spent months doing this. And so I had this huge hoard of gems in this room, and I would just stand there and do my unrelenting force. Is that what it is?
Unrelenting force.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I would just do that shout and make a giant gem tornado in the room, and it ended up, I got so many in there that it just straight up broke my game.
Yep.
And I had to restart. I mean, it wouldn't let me go back anywhere.
Oh, wow.
It just fucked it. It was a pretty epic way to fuck up a game, though.
Yeah, I've seen similar stunts, like Fallout 4. Somebody loaded the main settlement with like landmines. And I mean, it was loaded with. It took them hours to lay out all these landmines. And you watch him shoot one, and then you watch his computer just cry.
Oh, wow.
I love it so much how we just
into a puddle.
You can pick any game and do some ridiculous shit, like The Sims, for example. I used to, because in the middle of the night, once in a while you'll get ghosts that come out of the graves. So I would get people to swim and delete the pool ladder and then fast forward till they just like kept dying, and I would keep doing that with the new family over and over. And then so like my properties were just like graveyards, like hundreds of graves.
Yep.
And then at night, like your Sims could never sleep because they were just being haunted constantly.
That's freaking awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, or you could take a door away or
Yep.
put something in front of the door so they just keep burning them, low cooking skill, and they're burning the house down.
Yeah, you could do a lot of twisted things in The Sims.
Yeah,
you were kind of like a little god.
Yeah, and then you just sweep up their ashes. And
Well, they're done with.
Yeah. Run the next simulation.
Dude, The Sims was the shit.
When you were talking about collecting gems in Skyrim, and I did something similar in Fallout 3, where I don't know why or when this started, but I just started picking up plungers wherever I could find them, and I'd bring them back to my house in Megaton, and I stacked them up like in neat little rows by the front door, and it was just a thing. That was whenever I went back, I was like, I got a few plungers, gotta stick them over there.
I found some plungers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to pile up. I would find old world money and pile it in the corner behind a chair. I had a teddy bear sitting on the chair with an AK, and just a pile of money pouring out from behind him. It was great.
That's amazing.
It's the little things that they're like, you want to do that? Here, go ahead.
What the fuck is this guy? Sorry.
Which one?
Tom Howard.
Oh, Todd Howard. Todd Howard made Skyrim.
Oh, did he?
And not No Man's Sky, but basically Starfield. He made Fallout, all these things.
Played most of the Elder Scroll games, like Arena and Daggerfall. I've played a little bit of Battlespire. I think there's another one that I haven't played yet, but then Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, ESO. But there was some old ones that a lot of people, at least that I know, don't even know about. Like, I didn't know about Battlespire until just recently.
Yeah, that's an old one, right?
Yeah, it's super interesting take on it, too, because it was such a deviation from what the games were at that time.
So yeah, for sure. I personally on like when I play Skyrim, I can't help but like make it really hard for myself.
Yeah.
Like I tend to I like doing unarmed too, like completely unarmed, and being a Khajiit and just having like heavy gauntlets.
Heck yeah.
Wait, can people see that?
Yeah, I've been sharing them.
Oh. Oh, okay.
That's what I've been kind of doing. It's occupying the time a little bit and showing funny stuff at the
I'm
same
like 7 months pregnant with milk right now.
time. Oh, 2 tall glasses. Yeah.
No, this is number 3, so I'm 2.5 in.
Oh, for sure.
Dude, moo juice is so good.
Yeah, gotta love the milk.
No, we have way better Skyrim memes. Get out of here. Let me find some.
All right.
Besides that weird dude that made it.
Yeah. Have fun.
Sorry, Todd or whatever. I don't know if you're weird, but
Todd Howard.
Todd.
He is kind of weird. He's kind of like a Mark Zuckerberg figure.
What is happening here? For fuck's sake. Nothing? You got nothing?
You can use up here.
But I don't want
Did you
to.
ever get around to playing The Last of Us and Part 2?
So I never had the consoles it was on, but I always went online and watched like super cuts of all the cinematics and with like minimal gameplay, just to convey the story.
Yeah.
By the way,
I sat through that whole like Last of Us movie basically on YouTube when the game first came out.
You gotta play it.
Oh, for sure.
your mama's so fat she needs 2 Dark Brotherhood contracts.
Oh shit.
Damn.
Sorry. It's just
Yeah. That's one of the first ones too.
That's stone cold. That was ice cold, actually.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played Skyrim. The last few times I really did enjoy it, which is hard to say. But you know, when a game lets you crank the difficulty up, you're like, okay, a challenge, finally. That's what I had to do with Starfield. I just realized I was mowing people down left and right, and I'm like, okay. So I bumped it up to hard. I'm like, that's still kind of walking all over people.
Oh, for
I
sure.
need to find this one.
So I cranked it up to very hard. It's just the highest difficulty they'll give me so far. And,
Do you become a bullet sponge?
Not really. Not when you crank up the difficulty. Like as long as you got good armor and you're using your different stems, you can deal with a lot of damage. But if you're not, like, you can go down pretty quick if you're not paying attention.
Well, I'm sorry. What about the enemies? Are they like taking, rocket launchers to the face basically and shrugging it off just because it's on hard?
No, like on very hard, I can hit somebody with a shotgun usually a few times and they go down. And I feel like it's justified within reason because like they do have armor. They're using stims. This is a space future sci-fi. Like, what do you know about how the armor works? And like, I don't know. But it feels like a healthy balance when I play it on very hard because I'm not just walking over everything. And when I'm presented a difficult enemy, like in a space battle, say, I can go down pretty quick because I'm either not paying attention or just not playing right, or they're just way stronger than I can handle at that time.
Oh, for sure. One of the funnest ways I had of playing a Bethesda game was, I believe it was Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4 maybe. One of them that let you, I think it was the one that let consoles have mods, because I remember there was a lot of like realism mods, and the game came with like an update that had like survival mode. It was like something separate from like the difficulties.
Yeah,
you just like switch on survival mode, which makes it a certain level of hardness, and it like affects the bullet. Like I would like get mods that would affect the bullets and stuff. Like basically everybody, like bullets acted like real bullets basically. So everybody went down in like a couple hits.
Yeah.
Like you got shot in the leg, it's instantly crippled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they actually got that idea from the modding community because they made that mod for Fallout 3.
Right.
And then
Genius.
They're like, oh, well, we'll use that for New Vegas. And they did the same thing with 4. Like, they put that hardcore survival in.
I think it was 4 that I was playing.
You have to
sure.
eat
Yeah.
food, drink water. Well, and it's big in Vegas too. But yeah, you have to maintain those stats. You can only carry so much. Your weapons are more deadly, but you are also more susceptible to damage.
Yep. You got to drink water more.
Hmm.
You got to sleep.
Yep, that's the only
Yeah.
way to save is to sleep somewhere.
I believe you. Uh, they may have just tracked water and sleep, but I think there may have been hunger too.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I remember I added things like an extra layer on top of like the bullet realism,
Hmm.
and like camping.
Yep.
You know, why wouldn't you be able to camp?
Right.
Like, why do you have to go and search out for ruined beds in like crumbling gas stations?
Right.
Like, no, this dude would have a tent or something, like even a little bedroll.
Yeah.
You know, find a little nook between some rocks. You call it good.
Yeah. If you go on the modding community now, you see a lot of those just logic-based immersion additions, like camping.
Hmm.
Like, this should be something that's in the game. Let's put it in there. Okay.
See, I think that's one area where the Bethesda games really shine is when you go through and you put select mods on it.
Yeah.
And I'm usually going to tend towards stuff that makes it super realistic like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, one of the coolest cinematic moments in a game I had was actually that playthrough with just the right amount of mods, because you can overdo it too, where like it's, I don't know, so ridiculous where it doesn't even feel realistic.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, I'm like, somebody sneezes on me and I die,
Yeah.
or whatever, or suddenly they're bullet sponges or something. So you know, like one of the mods went wrong somewhere, or maybe you downloaded the wrong overhaul or something.
Hmm.
But anyway, I had the right amount on, and it was like towards the beginning of the game. Bullets are rare as fuck because, you know, it actually makes sense. Um, so I only had a few in my gun. It was almost like I was playing Dead Space or something.
Yeah.
But I remember I actually felt nearly fully immersed in the game just because of the little bit of survival bullshit I had to go through in the beginning, just simply finding water and a place to sleep and stuff.
Right.
But by this point, I found the right mods. I was like started with the game and a good chunk into it. So I remember I just left the first area and I started walking, which you can't do for very long. It's almost like real life when you just wander off into the wilderness or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where's the water?
Yep.
You know. So you got to be really prepared. So basically, my plan was to just like cut to the next like dense area on the map, and it happened to be like the crumbling remains of one of the cities, but it was just like completely overrun with ghouls.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
feral ghouls.
Yep.
Nobody else, and it was like The Walking Dead. I was like playing an actual zombie game because like the mods made it so that like headshots were, you know, more intense and stuff.
Hmm.
And you know, I don't know, ghouls were affected a certain way if I remember right. So like it just really felt like I was fighting a bunch of zombies.
Yep.
And they were going down pretty quick when I shot them in the head and stuff. But like, dude, I didn't have much ammo and stuff, and I had to like sneak.
Eric said the paper was.
Oh, sorry.
I had to like sneak through the town.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
It really changes the game. It gives you a whole new game to play when you add mods like that. Like,
yeah,
just having the random and more present monsters all over the place, even just ghouls, was a huge challenge. Even if
Yeah.
you had a decent amount of ammo, like you still got 20 ghouls running at you. Like, I hope you got enough ammo.
for real. For
'Cause
real.
that's a lot to deal with because they're all rushing your ass. So,
Right.
yeah, definitely it adds. And that's where that modding community shines. That's where I really love PC, is just
Yeah.
being able to breathe new life into a game. Like, I still go back to Morrowind. I love that game. It's such an incredible game, and when you can add those mods that enrich it and just breathe new life into it, it's like, oh yes, it feels balanced and beautiful. And
Dude, Morrowind, I think, has some of the craziest mods, and people are still going with that.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Like,
oh yeah,
Skyrim will be the same way.
oh yeah, yeah. That's never gonna stop.
I want a Skyrim job right now.
Yeah, it's always a good moment for Skyrim.
Morrowind, the modding community is actually building this massive. It's Tamriel rebuilt, and they're rebuilding Tamriel on the Morrowind engine, and they're slowly piecing it together, and they've got a lot done. It's a lot of new content for Morrowind, and it's incredible. It's all playable, and they got voice actors for some of it. If I'm remembering correctly.
I heard about that. Yeah.
It's just what a labor of love.
Yeah.
To make this incredible game, it's that much more incredible.
I heard they were overhauling it with like Skyrim graphics and stuff. So.
I think I had heard that at one point too.
They have to put so much content into these games, not just, I mean, all of the dialogue, but all of the books too. Like, it's crazy how much content is really in these games. And then, what's the first thing you do in Skyrim?
You wake up on a cart.
No.
Like,
what do you
like
do?
For example, like, I used to get certain shouts right away, but like one of the very first things I have to do is get Shadowmere, or I'm killing horses constantly.
Yeah. Falling off of mountains and stuff.
You know, I never actually used horses in Skyrim, but
really,
yeah, I always just would fast travel or walk. I don't know.
I'm always in confrontation or conflict, I should say, so I don't get to fast travel.
I always like to do I'd usually go with like a battle mage type build, or
yes.
I always loved doing like a rogue, with good alchemy skills. I could make like poisons and stuff, and I'd just be picking flowers everywhere.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
I'm gonna make poison with this later.
And then you never do, or you do and then you sell it.
Yeah, I love foraging pretty much right away too, and I never would look up actual recipes because I'm just fucking around with shit.
Yeah. And that's part of the fun of it, was just figuring stuff out.
Shout outs to JVP Music. He says, tonight I vape with the Pritchards.
Hell yes, you do,
yes,
my friend.
Hail JVP.
Hail JVP.
Dude's a phenomenal musician.
Hail Iron Age.
You can actually check out his
Hail M3tro.
Hail
Skyrim.
You can actually check out JVP's. I believe it's like an e-comic, or I don't know what to call it, but it's a YouTube video called Ruthless. Yeah, check out Ruthless on YouTube
and like it and subscribe.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I checked it out. It's great stuff. It's about it reminds me of Evil Dead in a way, in a good way. Yeah, in a good way. It's like the apocalypse, and this dude has like his axe, which is his guitar. It's his weapon. He turns it into a weapon.
What is that called?
Ruthless, and it's a video comic on YouTube.
I was making sure you had that.
Oh yeah, I have nothing. But while we're still on the subject of like games. One of the other cool moments I had in Fallout was, again, on like that super immersive survival setup with all the mods and everything. Mm-hmm. It was after I was a good ways into it and pretty used to like surviving like that in Fallout and stuff. Mm-hmm. So like I knew how to fight ghouls and stuff. And dude, I'm telling you, just that added a whole nother level to the ghouls. I was playing Fallout, but I was also playing like The Walking Dead, the video game. You know what I mean? It was really fucking awesome. And I remember I was like posted up outside the museum. There's a museum in there, and I believe it's where you get the outfit, which is like the Conan the Barbarian ripoff. It's either like the outfit or like the melee weapon. Yep. It's in the museum. but
Crockett.
the museum's overrun with feral ghouls,
Yep.
and at the very heart of the dungeon, basically, is what it is like a super mutated glower or
Yep,
whatever.
a glowing one.
But like when you survival mods on, and you're in close quarters with these freaking ghouls, dude,
Radioactive
it's like impossible.
Yeah.
It is like really hard because you're literally just a dude basically against these freaking feral ghouls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it gives it that heavy realism. Like, you are a human being, and these are vicious monsters that literally want to like rip you limb from limb. And if you can just picture yourself in that situation for a moment, you will find that immersion.
Yeah.
You will go, oh crap, this thing is in my face trying to rip it off. Yeah.
Needless to say, I set up a tent right outside the front door and just like camped there because the only way you could save it is if you sleep.
Yep.
Ash is the main character of this show too.
Oh yeah, shout outs to Ash from Pokemon. Shout outs to Ash from, let's see if I can, from Ruthless, and Ash from Evil Dead.
It's a good name.
I love it.
Yes.
I'm a
Yes, it
huge
is a
Evil
good
Dead
name.
junkie. Like,
We actually talked about ashes earlier.
What was that about?
Sweeping up Sims ashes.
oh yeah.
Good times.
The brutality is involved in The Sims.
Yeah. I remember when I was playing Skyrim and you and your brother were shocked that I wasn't playing on easy. I'm like, what the fuck?
You cranked up the difficulty a little. Trolls are not anything to mess with when the difficulty's even cranked a little.
No. It's like, if you aren't ready to like immolate them, just walk away.
I think one of the challenges of Skyrim in the speedrunning is getting past the troll on the main mountain.
Yeah.
On the way to the Greybeards, because they specifically position that troll in the game so that no matter what, it's hard for you. So like when speedrunners have to get past it, it's literally like all skill based because like to progress further in the game or whatever, you have to like go here and like, I don't know, the game's programmed so that the troll's always hard. It's always like a troll. So if you have the difficulty cranked up like that at that same part, I don't know.
It just becomes damn near impossible.
Yeah, I heard it's one of the challenges.
Yeah.
You know, like killing the troll at level whatever.
Right. And walking up to that thing pretty unprepared is just, it makes it all the more difficult. Like, you're almost expected to kind of go out and prepare and kind of get things in order before you start
stop.
cutting up that
You're
mountain.
not going anywhere. Stop.
Our roommate tells him the dog is
Get excited.
Don't wake the baby up because I will fucking end you.
But yeah,
It's okay. It's okay, buddy.
So I've been talking about Fallout,
Be calm, boy.
and I believe Amazon has the rights to
You can
Fallout.
go say hi, but be calm,
Yeah.
boy, okay?
Yeah,
I mean it.
and I've been kind of looking for that for years, and I know there's like some fan-made stuff.
Oh yeah, there's tons of
I'm
family.
gonna go give him a treat for being a good boy.
Okay.
One second.
He didn't bark that much, so he gets a treat. What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you in Fallout?
Oh gosh, it's been years really since I've sat and played them seriously.
Well, like one memorable moment then, and it could be like Skyrim or any of them really. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's poker.
Just a Bethesda game.
I saw the craziest man I've ever seen.
No way.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I even took a picture, or else people wouldn't believe it happened.
Oh, I'm seeing Fallout
So the flap
with
came
Tom
out
Cruise.
654.
Is the Mission
staging,
Impossible.
Right?
No.
This guy had two.
I guess when I think of like absurd
No
things,
fucking way,
it's not
dude.
something that necessarily
Oh, I bet
happened to
he
me,
was
but something that
pissed.
I just thought was super
that a thing?
hilarious. I was browsing the mods for Skyrim, and you know, there's that one power where you can rain down like fireballs from the heavens. Someone made a mod where instead of raining fireballs, it was raining wheels of cheese, just massive wheels of cheese. And I'm like, you know what? That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, I don't think I've ever
Just the little
Shut.
things that people do when you can
straight
tell they were
flush
just
to
bored.
straight
It's,
flush. Like,
Oh,
to
you
think
gotta
of the
love it.
magnitude, right?
Shout out
Of
to
that
Jared
is- I got
Chrisman,
lost with
Hail
flaws, you know?
Chrisman.
Like,
Oh,
that's
and
the
Rose just
magnitude
showed
of
up.
But then
Shout outs to Rose.
Wow.
And
All the
then-
people are coming in.
That's fucking evil.
How's it going, guys? We're just talking some Fallout and some Skyrim for now.
Even
Might
if
delve
there's
into
not,
some
like,
movies.
real money on the table, which there was.
My
in
roommate just got
game.
home, so
Oh, yeah, but-
they're kind of greeting him.
But even if you
He,
weren't
he was
with
playing
real money,
poker.
that's
So he
infuriating.
saw the
Like,
craziest hand
infuriating.
he's ever
But
seen.
yeah, it's that one
Apparently.
word. Angering. Fuck that.
Took pictures of it and
That's
stuff.
some shit.
I'm waiting for this guy for this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're
But
streaming.
I'm in no hurry.
Uh,
Hours.
We're live right now, so
Yeah.
I'll catch you after.
Damn. Damn. That's fucking.
Jared,
Ridiculous.
Jared Chrisman and Rose just showed up.
Oh, hell yes. Can I sit there since I
Yeah.
have problems? For some reason, my other ear hurts a lot more. But
Okay.
I see some more greatest people of all time
Can you
showed up.
Baking soda?
What?
Can I use your baking soda?
Of course.
Okay.
It's not like it's our baking soda.
Sure.
It's yours too. You live here
So Rose says, waiting for midnight so I can say I'm officially a year older. Hang out with you guys sounds like a great way to pass the time. Happy birthday.
Happy 32nd.
yeah.
Thank you. It's my Jigglypuff spirit animal sleep shirt.
And we put Xander in a Pokemon shirt, so he's matching Mama.
Yeah. We tried to have him pick, but he had fallen asleep and I moved him, but he woke up and I tried to have him pick and he didn't want to, so he was pretty tired. So hail Rose, hail Jared.
And I think JVP is still around too, maybe.
Well, we
Anyway.
already said hail him.
Anyway,
Oh.
so I've been falling behind a little.
Hold on.
What?
Solid parenting was what you shared about your daughters and the the animal bones and cleaning in response to some hate on homeschooling. That was amazing. Good times.
For those who don't know, Rose in the chat here is what's her name? The Bone Lady on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. On Twitter, X, whatever, and
Twix.
I believe it's the
Text
Bone
her.
Lady on TikTok
Right?
too.
Mhm.
But she's
Yeah.
the Bone Lady, the epic goat Bone Lady.
Yeah.
Not really, but
She'll literally get animals and
Yep.
clean the bones and everything, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's
Oh, and
pretty
I used
awesome.
to work at a
It's-
Family Dollar, and this guy would come in and buy all of the ammonia that we had available because it was part of the process.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Told me some pretty interesting stories too.
I bet.
so I actually, Rose, I forgot to tell you, but at work, I took out an air filter and found a dead mouse in there. And I was like, should I mail this to Rose? I thought about mailing you a dead mouse.
Yeah. Wouldn't
But
that have
it-
been
I don't
heartfelt?
know.
It might have
I
even
mean-
arrived in time for her birthday. If you would have sent it out right away, that would have been
Such
kind of
an asshole, I
hilarious.
should have.
That would have been kind of hilarious.
But I don't know how to clean them, and I don't know how about mailing like animal corpses. I don't know rules about that stuff. But I mean, I think about it when I see roadkill and stuff like, oh, my friend Lori would love that. Now I'm like, oh, Rose would like that. There's just this
Send me
it's
dead
cool.
shit.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because it's like a way to honor animals after they're gone too. And it's like, instead of just being mangled roadkill, you like clean their bones and appreciate the art, turn it into different art, whatever, and display it. And it's actually really awesome, and I love it. And I don't understand why people think it's oddity or creepy at all, because I think it's very awesome.
Yeah, bones are beautiful.
And if I could, I would say throw my corpse on a hill for the birds to eat me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing.
I've always wanted that Jedi style funeral. Like, lay me on a bed and burn me up. But kick-ass robes too.
There's,
Yeah.
I really looked into some of the funeral rites with different cultures around the globe when I was writing my novel.
Mhm.
There's, like, everybody has a different way of doing it. My particular favorite one that I wrote was the orcs, because they live in like wintry Arctic, they live on the poles. But then like the kobolds and the goblins are really cool too. And it's all different. Like when a goblin, what? Oh,
I'm just saying share that one because I want to say something in
okay.
response to it.
Okay, I'll let you do it. What were you saying?
Well, share the one.
The bottom one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have like requirements.
She wants to be a Necronomicon.
No.
That'd be awesome.
Well,
Go read your grandpa.
Okay. Andy wants me to, how people make with the ashes, they turn them into jewels and such. He wants me to, what one did you settle on? He wants me to make some kind of a sword or dagger or whatever.
Well, I think you can take the carbon in my ashes and make a diamond out of it.
Right.
And then put it in the hilt of a sword or a dagger or something.
Okay.
A family blade.
So he wants me to do that.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. But you guys have to have my back and make sure that he does this. Okay. So if something happens to me, like I die, obviously, I want him to move on and be happy. But here is the catch. He's only allowed to remarry if he proposes to her with a diamond made from my ashes and she knows about it and she's cool with it. So you guys have to make damn sure that happens if I die. Or she's not fucking good enough. She's not cool enough for him. I stand by that.
The hermit author trope never sounded so appealing than if that happened, honestly. I would probably just dive headlong into being a father and just go even further into writing and stuff.
Royce needs to be peeling that dead skin off her and displaying her tattoos like art.
Yeah, we got your back. We got your back. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to have like a family sword to pass down or whatever.
No, that would be awesome.
Yeah, add gems as you go.
Say again?
Add gems as you go.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
As people keep dying of the handle. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure you could just add a little color to like for example, if like a diamond's the easiest to make, because you can't just make somebody into a ruby, right? I mean, you could try or whatever, but like.
Well, they lab create all kinds of gems.
Right. And I'm just saying it would also just be easy to add a little color to a diamond.
You're gonna be a fire opal.
Will I?
Don't
Am I
laugh.
fiery?
I'm serious.
I'm like.
No.
Oh, okay.
But I don't care about you.
But anyway, like a lot of these cultures in my stories, man, I did some research on funerals and stuff, and fascinating, just absolutely fascinating.
It's weird when people take out their dead family and hang out with them every so often. Where is that, like Indonesia? It's some kind of weird village. I don't know.
It seems a little bizarre, but I guess like culturally,
right? To them, it's normal.
Yeah. I had fun with that one. I could go on about it, but
what time is it?
It's 11:21. Dude.
Oh, okay. So
late night streams. I like them. They're super chill. Like we got 6 people in here too. Shout outs to everybody here. You guys are all awesome.
Yeah, hail
the night owls.
Every one of you that's in here.
Yeah, you guys rock.
You're the best.
We were just talking about some video games and stuff earlier.
Peeling skin off,
Yeah,
dead
funeral
stuff,
rites.
ashes.
That's cool. Yeah.
When we lost our first son, I didn't even consider cremation because they basically came in and said you can have his body for your own burial, or you can do the group burial, which it's really, really awesome that at least our hospital offered that, where if you can't afford a burial, they do free group burials for free. But then, so after we were already home, I called them, and we had chosen the group burial because we couldn't afford one. And I called them and I was like, is it too late to get him back for cremation? And then I called around, and honestly, it was ridiculous how expensive it was. But when I called the funeral home that was actually by our house, about half an hour away from the cities, they actually, they do free child cremation. So they said we had to pay for the transportation, but they picked him up from the hospital, brought him to their crematory, and then when he was ready, they picked him up. And when I got there, they wouldn't take any payment from me.
Sorry.
You have to stop doing that, Andy.
It was an accident. Sorry.
I know, but you do it so many times, and it really hurts.
Yeah, we'll upgrade.
And the only reason it's in this ear is because it hurts in the other one.
Yeah. Anyway,
so anyway, they wouldn't take payment from me, and they gave us his ashes, and then they gave us a big box that locals put together with books about grief and like a baby blanket, all kinds of stuff in there, a brochure with a discount for this place called Faith's Lodge, where it's kind of like group grief therapy, but it's a retreat where they give you discounted rates. We didn't go. I mean, we can't afford a vacation or anything like that, but it was really, really sweet and touching. And I really prefer that and cremation over burials, because especially if we moved or something, it would really be, I mean, we could never leave the state if our son was buried here. There's no way we could live anywhere like Alaska, but it's nice to feel like he's home with us, and he's actually on top of Andy's dad. And then we have pet ashes on like the paw print things, bird footprint, clay things. So yeah.
Jared says, hats off to you two for staying together through such a profound loss. And that's the truth. There was nothing like it. I'll remember everything,
Yeah, it was really hard
forever.
because it was during COVID too. So he wasn't allowed to be with me at my ultrasounds or anything.
Yeah.
So I was by myself, and that was really not a good time. But
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell him when I was driving. I definitely wanted to tell him in person. So and he was on his way to work. So I just called him. I was like, you have to go home right now. Like, you can't go to work. So it was, but I definitely see how people are torn apart from that and, get divorced, and it just doesn't work out. But I really, truly believe that we were able to bond more through that. So it definitely brought us closer in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, just like with anything else, you can take something horrible and you can let it just destroy the person you are, or,
You can learn, grow, adapt.
Yeah.
Let it build you up instead of tear you down. You can use those weights as armor. If they're going to be bound to you forever, you can, get crafty with it. Let it fuel you, like an entire novel, for example.
Well, it was really hard because I had some of our friends that are really, really religious. One specifically, I won't name her, of course, but she told me that everything happens for a reason, and I was I didn't express it to her, but I was really, really upset that she would say that to me. I'm like, telling Andy, like, how the fuck could anyone ever say that to someone who just lost their baby, that everything happens for a reason? Like, so we found out at 16 weeks there was no fetal movement or heart rate, and I could feel him moving like the night before. So it probably happened my ultrasound was in the morning, so it had just happened. And they sent me down to the radiology first, to make sure. So I kind of had to go through it twice, and I had to be induced the next day. So since he was 16, or I was 16 weeks gestation, they gave me the option of trying to find somewhere in Minnesota, because I believe they will do DNCs until 20 weeks. But they basically told me I could find somebody that would surgically cut him up, and I couldn't handle that. So I chose to be induced and go through the labor and delivery. And then that's when, we found out it was a cord accident that way. And I don't think we would have found out. I mean, if they sectioned him apart, it's horrifying to even think about. But I don't think we would have found out that way either, what happened.
Yeah. We might have hid some of the information just because of the nature of it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how they'd be able to tell. I don't know. I don't
want to think about it.
It's creepy to me. But anyway, that's, how we found out and everything. And definitely, I mean, so it was pretty pretty hard. And for someone to say everything happens for a reason, I'm just that's wild to me. Mm-hmm. But then, so I wouldn't stop hemorrhaging on and off. It was really weird, on and off. And I kept going in, and they kept sending me away, because I was also taking a bunch of iron pills. And they're like, you're not losing enough blood, and basically sending me away. And I'm like, something's wrong. So they almost gave me a DNC at that point, because they suspected that I had retained birth product. Well, if they would have done that, I would have died, because I had an extremely rare, 2 of them, uterine AVMs, which are arteriovenous malformations. So it's essentially a bundle of arteries and veins that how do you explain it? They're just not mapped right. It's just an extra bundle. So it's
like an anomalous cluster.
Right. And you can get it from trauma, such as a DNC or C-section.
Yeah, which she had a C-section.
Supposedly. No.
Or sorry.
I had not had a C-section or DNC or anything.
My bad. I meant induced labor or whatever. Which can't it be caused from that too?
Well, they say it can't.
They say it
but
can't, yeah.
Okay, trauma to the uterus can cause it, but they think mine was congenital. Okay. We don't know. Yeah. I think it could have been, I swear, it could have been from me swimming in radiation water after Fukushima in San Diego.
Yep.
When the radiation water was there. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm never having kids. And I swam. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, there are less than 100 cases in reported medical literature, or reported in medical literature. So it was because uterine fibroids exist. They luckily, I mean, not for those people that have them, but they know how to do uterine embolizations. So they went through my femoral artery and put what's called gel foam into there. So, to back it up a little bit, when I was pregnant, since your blood volume increases, that's what made my AVM grow. And we were told that if I had gone any further along, it would have ruptured and almost positively killed myself along with the baby.
Yeah.
So, I mean, looking back to her saying everything happens for a reason, I mean, it's really wild to think about that. And, after that loss, I don't need to get into the surgeries and stuff. It doesn't matter. So we're not going to go back to that this time. But when that Mother's Day, so he was due in July, and I actually had him on the 28th of January in 2021. And so that Mother's Day in May, Andy wrote me a really sweet card, and he said something about how Olin can't wait to come back to us. And then I think I mentioned in another stream already that, like, on Olin's original due date is when we found out we were pregnant with Alexander.
Right.
And he had written that card about him coming back to us and everything. And I knew we were going to have a boy. And then they told us we were having a boy. And now we have him. And so it's just really wild to think, because if we hadn't lost Olin, we wouldn't have Alexander. It just wouldn't work like that. So we're
like, in a weird way, like, you don't want to hear everything happens for a reason, because it's like a really messed up situation. But like, at the same time, we still wouldn't have Alexander if it wasn't for the situation.
Yeah. And our friend that said that to me, I love her to death. She's one of the greatest people in the world. And so, I'm very honest with people, but I wasn't about to tell her, oh, look, we dropped 3 people. They're like, I don't want to hear this.
That's all right. I was just happy that they popped in, honestly.
Yeah.
And, while we're still on the tail end of the subject here, Rose says she's happy that we found places that would help us for the cremation and stuff, which we found a lot of people that, like, a lot of places that surprisingly were really generous. And then recently, like, with our car troubles and family and like house troubles and stuff, like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. The funeral home, like, they were very, very amazing. They were great, but I get really upset at funeral homes. Like, how are you charging $1,500 for a flower arrangement that's this big? I mean, you are seriously raping grieving families. How?
Yeah. Well, they're always going to take advantage, like, to monetize a situation, like death tax, inheritance tax, stuff like that. It's crazy. Situation.
I don't know if you've even watched any of our other streams, but I consider myself spiritual. We all come from the same source. I definitely have a lot of values that I share with Christians. I just, I read tarot for Christians. Some people think it's like the devil's work and things like that. And I just, like our God, our universe, source, whatever you believe, I definitely.
It's all the same thing, right?
I mean,
well, like,
we all come from the same God or
source,
universe, source, whatever we believe in, and it's just we have a lot of Christian friends, and I understand the sentiment behind it. You want to believe that God has a plan and things like that. And I don't think that people even realize they're being insensitive sometimes. And I know she had a loss too. So, I think part of that might come from her believing that about her own loss and experience. And, like, she probably found comfort in that, believing that God had a bigger plan and it did happen for a reason. And so, since she did find that comfort, that's the only thing that I can think of, I truly, I don't know her that well. I know her because I know her through Andy. He grew up with her husband and she's wonderful. But yeah, I really think that some people, it's not even just like an ignorance or insensitive thing. I really think that she was just trying to share something that helped her. At least I hope so.
Yeah. I think people mean well,
M3tro, are you still here? I'm so
I
sorry.
am.
Yeah. He's just taking it in.
Blah, blah.
I was just listening, and rolling some thoughts through
Goodness.
my own brain.
And we'll get to those in just a second. Shout outs to Jonathan A. Douglas here. Hail, you crazy kids. Hail to the orc chieftain, John Douglas.
He'll all you amazing.
Yeah, you're a father too, right, Metro?
I am.
And for those just joining,
I hope so. You introduced him as one earlier,
Yeah,
too.
well, like I'm just being
Yeah.
pragmatic for the audience, you know.
Yeah, I know.
For those just joining, Metro is a gamer, a dungeon master, a father, and you know, all around. I view him as a philosopher, also. So
It was awesome
he's a
to
good
see
friend
you
of
in
mine.
here. Thank you very much,
Mhm.
Jared. Drop where we can find you in the comments so we could put that on the screen if you're still here.
Oh yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah. Everybody here, honestly, if you want to show something in the chat, I'll
Show away.
I'll bring it up on screen for sure. And that's actually a good idea, Ben. Good idea. So yeah, Metro, you're a father too. I know a lot of that was kind of heavy, but like, how's your journey as a father been? You know?
It's been kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
My first child, things with his mother didn't go great, and you know, it's you're young, you're crazy, you think you can handle the world, and you know, life can get to you. But my son is doing well. He's living with his adoptive family, and he's well taken care of. You know, he's got good education. He's doing all sorts of extracurricular activities.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, he's wicked smart too.
Aww.
I bet he is, man.
Yeah.
You're one of the smartest people I know, honestly.
Oh, thank you.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then there's my daughter, and I talk to her pretty frequently. I call her and talk to her. She lives a ways away too, and you know that's okay. I still get to talk to her and interact with her, and she loves it. You know, she wants me to call her every day. So
Aww,
yeah,
Dad.
it really keeps me afloat, honestly, because
Yeah.
not being able to be there and provide and protect is
Hard, I'm sure.
Yeah.
you know, it's ingrained in me as a father, and it's like that's my job. I'm supposed to be there, and you know that's a hard concept to deal with when you can't.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That must be really, really rough sometimes.
It has its moments, but you know the time has kind of made it easier. I've found a little more peace in it, in myself.
Yeah. And being able to, you know, she's obviously at an age where you can have conversations with her and and call her every day, and that's really awesome.
Yeah. She's a big old nerd like me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So many dads are underrated and, you know, just like drugged through the system and just everything. And it's really, really disheartening sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, we're at this big point right now where, you know, we really push that men's mental health matters and all these things, and it's really wonderful. But we found that when I was pregnant the last time, almost like everyone would be like, "You're doing such a great job," to Andy, and just like not say shit to me.
Yeah.
And I was just
and
sitting
I'm
there.
like, you don't live with us. You have no idea. Like, he could be beating on me at home.
Yeah, I'm just like quietly sitting there.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, they're right, but okay,
Yeah.
you know.
At least address her first.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know.
Or two, you know,
Also.
it got a little upsetting sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, I'm happy that, you know, there was actually, you know, when we lost Owen, there were a lot of people that really checked in on Andy too and cared about and acknowledged that, you know, it affects him too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah, that was
good.
cool. Yeah.
Friends
Yeah.
and family, you know.
Yeah.
It's important to be surrounded by
Yeah.
people that love you and that you love, and you know all the good things that come along with that.
Yeah, single parents can do an amazing job. They can do all of this stuff and they're badass. And I don't know how the They do it. I mean, seriously, I don't know. But I mean, I'm really fortunate that we have, we have each other.
Yeah.
When one of us needs a break, I mean, it's really great. But so
Absolutely.
I don't know how single parents do it. Really,
It's an incredible feat.
yeah. But that said, I really do believe that both parents matter a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When it can't work out that way, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think I cut you off just before you were going to tell me a moment that stood out to you in a Bethesda game.
Oh, well, I know I was talking about the raining cheese wheels.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did say that. You did say that. That's
Right.
She wasn't here when I was talking about it. So there's the power in Skyrim where you can rain down fireballs. Someone made a mod where instead of fireballs, it's cheese wheels.
Cheese wheels, yeah.
Rain
Yeah.
down cheese wheels from the heavens.
I played for years on PlayStation with no freaking mods, and then when you could get them, the only ones I really liked were the unlimited carry weight, badass, and where you could jump super high.
The spring heel jack boots or like a cheat code?
It was just like a mod, like
Oh,
cheat
mod,
code
yeah,
where
yeah,
you could just
yeah.
like jump high.
I mean,
jump
that's
up,
super useful.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, and modders really make those games shine.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So yeah, I've been falling behind on my movie reviews, so I figured I would mention some stuff while I was on screen here.
Sure, yeah.
I recently, the movie I was going to review right before I kind of stopped doing my regular Monday thread was Ninja Turtles.
Mhm.
But like I watched it and I was just like, oof, I don't why, and I realized I should probably just kind of review things that I like.
Yeah.
But I can like skim over some stuff here on stream. I mean, basically like there's this trend this year of like phenomenally animated movies, like really great CGI
Mhm.
and like honestly like really progressive technology used on these movies. So if you just like muted it so if you just like muted
mind
it
me.
and watched the movie, maybe had a couple drinks, it would be like really crazy and awesome looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this was the Spider-Man movie too, which was pretty great, honestly.
Yeah.
It had its flaws, but like yeah, it's whatever. It's not like as bad as what we've seen. And as far as its own thing, it was pretty damn good,
Nice.
The Turtles movie kind of like suffers from the same thing, but like even more exaggerated. So like they're claiming like it's a kids movie, but I think they're just like using it as an excuse to write poorly, honestly.
Yeah, and well, I think that can be evident when these movies are made for kids, but they're written by adults.
Right.
And when adults try and dumb that down in their writing, it can be catastrophic. Where it's like you need to find a balance where it's appealing to not just children but adults as well.
This is why Pixar is so successful, and honestly, like pre-modern Disney. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to say early 2000s,
Yeah.
even 1990s. You can go back and watch Aladdin, and there's some pretty funny like adult moments in there.
Yeah.
Like Robin Williams, bro. Oh, like you could go back and watch Treasure Planet too and find the same stuff.
Yep.
It's pretty great. I think Katie found something funny here.
I just. Oh,
Well,
I
and
swear our phones spy on us a lot.
Yeah.
It says, "I can't believe caskets cost $4,000.
Yeah.
Y'all can just put me in my sister room."
And on this subject, John says, "Can't imagine my life without both my parents." And I totally, I get that. I couldn't imagine it either until I lost my dad. That was pretty eye-opening. You know what I mean? I was in the middle of my music career and stuff. So, you know, it had been a little bit since I even really talked to him, just because I got busy with like just being on the internet. You'd be surprised at how often you're just chilling on like Facebook and you could just like click over and like talk to your dad or whatever while you're on there.
Right.
I don't know. I could have a whole stream of talking about my dad. So I feel that, John.
You should.
And you know how much you love your family is an inspiration. Honestly, I love following you on Twitter. Metro, just so you know, John here is a fellow author. He's an orc lover, like myself.
Heck
And,
yeah.
Damn good guy. All right.
Pleasure to meet you, John.
He's posts some funny shit, man. He landed a couple pretty. I'm sorry, I did it again. Yeah, I'm sorry.
For real though.
He landed a couple pretty big interviews with some, you know, one notable YouTuber, Razorfist. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's not like a huge celebrity or anything, but like he's got a pretty sizable audience on YouTube, you know. So it's pretty cool. Orc aficionado, don't make it a kink. Well, I think somebody beat us to that, buddy.
When you have to make that statement, don't make it a kink. Did you say anything about it being a kink?
I think it was the way I said it.
Oh, okay.
An orc lover. Or
Oh,
something
fair
like that.
enough. Yep. Okay.
I do know there's like a whole branch of fantasy books that are just like about orc lovers. from what I hear. Like apparently that meme on Critical Role where they keep finding the I think it's season 1 or 2 or whatever. They keep finding the book that's just like Tusk Love or whatever. It's called Tusk Love or whatever, and it's just like a really bad orc romance book.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a reference to that whole community of romance authors.
Reminds me of the Lusty Argonian Maid.
And yeah, which is infinitely
the best
better.
book. That is my Bible.
Yeah, I think I posted a meme about that one time. It's overdue for another one.
Oh, I got one you can
Yeah,
find.
she's got
Just wait for Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, dude, the way games are going, yeah. Like you can hook up with a bear in Baldur's Gate. It's all just uphill from here.
And just looking at the leap that Starfield has taken from Skyrim and Fallout, like I am so much more excited for Elder Scrolls 6. Like I don't care if I have to wait another 10 years. Like, I know it's going to be incredible.
Oh, I know. Especially if they like
Dude.
learn a lot from Starfield and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude,
Well, and
don't touch
when
me
you
with your cold hands ever
just
again
playing
on my
Starfield myself, I see so many influences, different aspects that I loved about other games, and they built it in. They're like, oh yeah, let's use that. That's a great idea. And I'm like, do it.
I mean,
you take all the little things that I love about other games and mash them into one and make it a cohesive, enjoyable experience. Like, I'm down for that.
I like how our dogs are either both under here or they keep switching back and forth.
yeah, they have
You
to
have a
like.
good night, John.
I hope porn doesn't come up for me typing this.
Good night, John. Oh yeah. She's finding a pretty awesome meme here with the Lusty Argonian Maid. What were we just talking about before we said goodbye to John? I got distracted here. My ADD kicked in.
Squirrel.
Squirrel,
Well,
yeah.
I can't find it, but it's just the Drake template where he's like to 50 Shades of Grey and like how about the Lusty Argonian?
Yeah,
It is.
it's better than.
And now
better than
we're
50 Shades
just
of Grey.
looking at Argonian porn basically. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
who
People are
looked up
ridiculous.
that?
The internet
Why?
is a dirty place.
Oh, because that's a movie that he knows every word to, and I left it up so that we could talk about it.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Well, I think I know every word to it. It's been a while since I've sat and watched it because it really, it triggers a sad part in me.
Yeah.
And I don't
Aw.
always like to visit it. Sometimes I do intentionally, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. But
Have you seen the movie Once?
it sounds familiar, but I
Heaven and
don't
Night, John.
think that I have.
It's an independent film. It's a musical, and it is one of my favorite movies, and almost nobody knows what it is. And I only know because when I was in Korea, I was at a photo shoot, and they were playing the soundtrack, and it was a long photo shoot, but they had it on a loop. And so I just asked like what the music was because I loved it, and they told me it's from a musical called Once, and that's how I know about the movie. But when I met Andy, I found out not only did he know and love the same obscure bands that I did, but he also, it's one of his favorite movies, so it was really exciting. I was like, no way. It's kind of like my comfort movie. I don't know. I just love to watch it. And it does not have a happy, like normal happy ending. So, but it's still a good one, and it's realistic, and it's a good movie. It's a feel good movie
Yeah.
with good music.
And like they're actually singing in it and stuff. Like,
Yeah, and it's an easy watch. Some parts are kind of funny, and some part it's like a wholesome movie.
yeah.
Very wholesome. Like it's family friendly and everything too.
Yeah. It has a realistic, grounded ending too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my enjoyment in musicals is a little more unrealistic. Like Moulin Rouge is a great example, and then I don't care what anybody thinks about either of these movies because I think they're great. But Crybaby is another one. I just
I haven't seen that
absolutely love
so long.
Crybaby.
I haven't seen that for so long.
I haven't either.
It's
That's
such a good, stupid movie.
But you know what another good musical is? Baby Driver.
yeah. God, that movie's so good.
Yeah, it's good. That has good rewatch value too.
Yeah, for sure.
We should watch that again.
Yeah.
soon.
That I mean, yeah. That movie like never gets old. It's crazy.
Yeah, except for creepy ass Kevin Spacey. I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of his.
At least he plays a bad guy.
Yeah, he plays a creepy fuck. So I mean, it
does play a
makes
good bad guy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But on the back on the subject of Starfield and the games and stuff, it's kind of just the last thing I was going to say. It's kind of like a nod back to that, like you said, they were adding a whole bunch of features from other games into it or whatever. It's kind of a nod to that quote I was saying before stream, where it's like talent borrows but genius steals.
Yeah. Well, and it's really just they're standing on the backs of giants, or
Yeah.
a bunch of little giants.
Well,
it just makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
It's like let's take all these things that people enjoy about these games and implement it into ours to make it better.
Yeah,
And
for
they
sure.
did that. I think they did a good job at it too.
Well, it's like recognizing the market and
Yeah.
like what's working.
Yeah, like as a business, they make very smart moves. At
True.
least- although I did have the Game Pass recently, the Xbox Game Pass, and I downloaded Oblivion and I could not mod it. No matter what I did, it something about the files being like encrypted. Like I couldn't access the files on my own computer, and I'm like, you know what?
Weird.
I don't need Microsoft Game Pass, so I just canceled the subscription, got my $1 back.
Well, that's what you do. Yeah, that's what happens. You remember the good old days where you could just like, oh, we're on the same network. Let me just drop Warcraft 3 into your computer.
Yeah.
And then you can just open the shared folder, load it up, and now boom, we're playing Warcraft in like 10 minutes.
Yep.
Like
The good old days.
yeah, same with like Age of Empires, like all of those good old games, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But then at some point somebody made a decision to just like put like that wall in front of everything where it's all encrypted. Like I get it, like you're trying to stop piracy, but like at the same time you're not actually truly allowing us to purchase the full game and all the rights or whatever that come with ownership. Like it's not true ownership, right? if like we don't even have access to it.
Yeah, you're just borrowing it.
Yeah, and that's what everything's kind of drifting towards. I don't know if you remember when Xbox One was first being like talked about, but there was do you remember the controversy around it?
Mhm.
They were trying to like sense heartbeats in the room
Oh yeah,
and like, charge people accordingly for like viewing content. They were really trying to go far with like as far as like jumping to like dystopian future shit.
yeah.
Like-
If I remember correctly, Microsoft actually had to deal with the NSA to allow them to spy on people using their hardware and their
Yeah.
software. And you know, it's in the agreement. So when you don't bother reading anything and you just click accept, it's like you accept to be spied on. There you go.
Yeah, and that's I mean
Oh, wait a minute.
it's a sad thing. You know, you get us all addicted
Boys,
to stuff,
do
and
not.
then we can we just skip through all that,
Yeah.
and we just sign our rights away or
Really?
whatever.
Come on.
But I remember like they were trying to say like digital only. You couldn't let your friends borrow games.
Yeah.
It was going to charge extra or whatever if it senses other heartbeats in the room. I mean,
Yeah, that's just insane.
and I remember like 90% of what I heard was true because they backpedaled all of it when they realized everybody was just switching to PlayStation because
Yeah.
PlayStation was coming up at the same time. They thought they had a monopoly,
No.
and they were like, "Oh, PlayStation isn't even going to be able to build enough machines or whatever."
Yeah, whatever.
That was the controversy at the time. So they're like, "We'll just do whatever we want," and then everybody's like,
Nope,
"No."
not buying that.
And I think like it was like starting to affect their stock. They literally did a 180,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Okay, Xbox 360 2.0 or whatever."
Yeah. Yeah, I quit paying attention to Microsoft a long time ago because they really ticked me off on a couple occasions.
That was a mask off moment for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have, I think I still might have it laying around, Doom 3 from the original Xbox edition, limited edition steelbook case, you know, really nice game, really loved it. Played it on my 360 all the time. It operated better on that console. On the original Xbox, it was kind of laggy and my response times wouldn't match up. But anyways, I played it all the time on my 360, and then one day after an update, I find that I can no longer play this game. Like the backwards compatibility has been removed, and I'm like, so you're telling me now that a game that I've been playing on my console for years, I'm no longer allowed to play because they came out with the BFG edition or whatever. So they removed the backwards compatibility. I'm like, you literally stole my money. I could no longer play this game. Like, it's just sitting here.
It's gone. I don't own it.
Any sense. So the only way I could bypass that would be to roll back the update on my console, and I wouldn't be able to use network features then. So it's like you put me in a bind here, and I don't appreciate that. Like, I'd have to take extra steps to play this game now, and that ticks me off. So I'm over Microsoft.
Yeah, dude. It's like little incremental stuff like that like leads to what we're seeing now, where like there's entire swaths of people just rejecting like the mainstream traditional sources of media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I think one of the first waves was indie games. I remember Xbox 360 had a whole like indie section that you could go through, and you could actually get like free games and stuff.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. I remember, and you'd find some gems in there. So I think they really paved the way with that. But we're only going to see better and better stuff, especially with like the new Unreal Engine thing being released or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like ever since that, you see all these crazy videos on like Facebook and stuff, just normal ass people messing around with it.
Yeah.
I see indie creators all the time that are they're like, oh, I programmed a new boss, #pixel art, and it looks like better than like I don't know, what's a good example? What's that game that's like Minecraft? That pixel game. It's like Minecraft side scroller.
Terraria.
Yeah, it's like better than Terraria type graphics because like these indies actually like they have no time limit or whatever.
Yeah.
So they can actually put a lot of like good
Yeah.
love into it.
It's amazing, really.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you ever get the chance, play Stardew Valley.
I-
It's such a small game, but there's so much content. There's so much to do in that
One
game.
dude.
Yeah.
One dude made that.
A labor of love. And I plugged 180 hours into that.
Have you
love
played RimWorld?
that. I haven't, but I've heard really good things about it.
Again, one dude.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. And it started off as like a military simulator.
That's
such
awesome.
a silky head.
Yeah, so this dude took like a real like simple military simulator and then just started tweaking it, but like took that core idea of what it was doing and like expanding on it. So like it's kind of like The Sims where you just kind of like set everything and then sit back and watch it happen. And you can like fast forward and stuff.
Thanks to clicking, everyone knows I got
So
to
essentially,
nails.
you're not even really playing. You're just kind of watching this colony unfold
Yeah.
as from like a managerial god mode perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
So like
I play similar games.
yeah, you lay like blueprints and then you just wait until the dudes do it. Like they don't actually go over there and do it right away unless you like have them set to do that and like prioritize it. It's actually pretty complicated.
Was that Hooded Horse that made that?
I don't know that doesn't sound familiar. I played quite a bit of RimWorld, so
Okay.
yeah, we'll wrap it up here and say an hour and a half will be the cutoff point here. We're at hour 22 so far.
I've played another game by this developer called Factorio, and it's a little factory builder game, and it gets really deep and intricate. So
Yeah,
I would. RimWorld looks pretty interesting. I'll have to check that out eventually.
yeah, like one dude, and like I said, it was a simulator. So like you get all these crazy scenarios that happen. The real fun of the game is like not cheating at all, right? Because you can just like switch God mode on. You can go into developer mode and just build whatever you want.
Dude, it predicted some real life shit for us.
It's a military
Because-
simulator.
I was why really, dogs? Cyan bombs are on the
Well,
floor.
some of the sounds that we hear are actually not audible to the audience because StreamYard compresses
It's
it.
really ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I was like just pregnant, and it kept having my person like just because I was pregnant like fall over, and like the dog would come rescue me, and I'm like, what is happening? And I kept needing to be rescued and carried back to camp because I'd like fall over. I'm like, really? Because I'm pregnant. And then after like our loss of my aviums and stuff, like I was in high risk pregnancy with Alexander because they can come back and all this stuff. And it was so painful where I would literally like drop sometimes.
Yeah. And then
we realized it was just like the game.
yeah, and Orcus is so attached to her side after the loss that it's almost like he was rescuing her all the time. So
It
yeah.
was ridiculous. Every time I was in pain, like Orcus, I have pictures of it too. He was like on top of me and like he wouldn't let any males besides Andy near me. He'd come right between us and stuff. But then like our kid was born in the game and killed his brother. And like
Yeah, that got pretty wild when randomness was introduced.
yeah, because so when you create the characters, you can pick traits, and then when they're just born from a pregnant character, like what did they our son on his mom's game got a fascination with corpses. Like just crazy stuff. But
Random
it's a fun game.
And again, the mods for that one are more fun if you just simply add more of what's already there, because they kind of just give you like a handful of everything and it still like works on a super complicated level. So if you just like crank all that up to 11, like there's a ton of traits and like a ton of like weapons and items and stuff.
Oh,
You can make it like really crazy. Oh, happy birthday, Rose.
3-2.
Happy birthday, Rose.
Happy birthday to the bone lady.
Happy birthday, bone lady.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, the whole point I was even trying to make with just talking about RimWorld and how it works and stuff is like just the scenarios that arise. Because like if you program your friends, you know your friends pretty well, so you can pick the exact traits and stuff and like mindset. You know, like
Mhm.
oh, this buddy kind of has a temper, or like you know, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then when you run a colony, it's pretty. It's just funny what happens because it's like, yeah, I could see that. You know what I mean? I could see that happening.
Yeah, well, I love that it can introduce a sense of randomness, but still realism along with that. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
that just feels like real life, like because you don't
Yeah.
know how a person's going to turn out.
Like when you, like if you hand a gun to just anybody, they're missing most of the shots. They're firing slower. You know, if they have a bad eye, that affects it.
Yeah.
Like if they could be missing a finger, you know,
Okay.
they could have a broken finger. Like literally every detail is logged in the text of the game. That's why it's such a simple looking game, because there's so much like beneath it. Like there's so
Yeah.
like you can lose your right eye. You can have like liver cirrhosis. You
Mhm.
could have like you could develop asthma. You could go through traumatic event that gives you a corpse fascination because of PTSD or whatever.
Right.
Like all kinds of stuff. Just simply seeing like a dead body from like a certain person, just like real life, they'll start freaking out. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if you introduce human meat, some people pick up on it and realize what they're eating and get depressed and start having like mental breakdowns all the time.
Yeah.
It gets nuts.
It is absolutely a fascinating game,
Nice.
but you'll lose your life in it, just like
Yeah.
Stardew Valley and all that.
Yeah.
So
Well, and Starfield's keeping me pretty occupied.
yeah, you're good with those for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always told myself if I ever went the sci-fi route, like hard sci-fi with my books, it would be RimWorld, basically.
Hell yeah.
It's so compelling, dude. They're like, yeah. There's always another planet too, you know. So,
Yep.
as far as stories are concerned, you can just keep
It's
going.
infinite.
Yeah.
Absolutely infinite.
Almost like the fantasy equivalent would be the multiverse, except sci-fi doesn't necessarily even need a multiverse. You just go to a different planet.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's great. And magic is technology.
Yep.
So like think of any magical power and just think of technology that does it.
Yep.
There you go. And I mean, you add like a One Piece-esque instability to the world where it's all just like chaotic and random ass people rise up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Then you get all these weird superpowers, or like Mad Max, I should say. Add like a Mad Max element to the universe.
Yeah.
See, that's compelling, and this is why I shouldn't like think out loud on stream, because like now there's gonna be like a dozen of those books, you know.
Oh well, I mean,
No, like 1,000 of those books, because there's so many viewers, you
Yeah.
know, and
Well.
I won't even be able to write it. So
that's I mean, it doesn't matter if they write something similar. Whatever you write is going to be profoundly different.
oh, exactly.
So
That's why they say don't be afraid to like send out advanced copies to proofreaders or like share your stuff with other authors and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, I got a book for you to read.
What's that?
I got a book for you to read.
Yeah, what book?
It's called Jitterbug Perfume. It's one of my favorite books. It's by Tom Robbins.
Oh hell yeah!
Um,
I haven't heard of it.
He's kind of an older author. I know he's not writing books anymore, at least not that I've seen come out, but like this guy was writing articles back when like the Doors were a thing. So he's been writing for a long time.
That's awesome.
And this book is, I've read it a couple times through because it's just such a fantastic read. And I think all of his books are really incredible, but this one definitely stood out for me the most. I'll give you this one, and when you're done, if you like him, you'll have to check out the rest of his work because he's super funny and just, I don't know, he comes up with these really wild stories.
Well, sometimes just like a situation is compelling enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, he does such a great job at just kind of twisting your noodle.
That's awesome.
Yeah, high praise to him.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. But yeah, like it's, you know, situations themselves can be compelling. And it's kind of like what I'm doing with my novel. I like the entire thing is just like the idea of a pregnant protagonist in a fantasy world, you know,
Okay.
with low amounts of magic, you know, but it like gets discovered as the story unravels. Like it's just
Okay.
really the situation itself. It's
Yeah.
you know, such a not necessarily fragile, but susceptible to danger character,
Okay.
like set on basically a pirate ship and sent into the unknown. You know, like
Nice.
a lot of stuff can happen. You know,
Yeah.
and even though the story gets pretty far off the rails, like I like to really I try to bring it back to that like main concept of like, hey, this person in this place dealt this hand,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah. But, yeah.
Well, we'll definitely have to talk more about your writing in a separate forum, but
For sure, dude.
because I love to delve into that more. But I think I'm toast for the night.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just over the hour and a half mark here.
Hell
So,
yeah, we
that's a
did
good
it.
amount. Yeah, that's a good amount. So, and we had people popping in, like we had a good amount. I see there's 2 viewers right now. You guys are awesome. Thank you, whoever may still be listening. I know, M3tro, you're kind of unplugged from social media and stuff, but if you have anything that people can find you at, you can plug it now, or if you don't want to, that's fine. I'll have you on future streams.
Maybe if
sure.
I start engaging in them more, yeah, I might. But yeah, I'd love to do this again.
Mhm.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
I have a few guildeds and a couple discords you could join if you want to start there. But as far as being like public, Twitter's a good place to start these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's quite a few people in there.
Shoot me the info and I'll get in there.
Oh, for sure, brother. Yeah, I'll happy. We'll get you in there. There's Royce's Discord, his Gilded, a Drink with Crazies Gilded. There's like approaching 300 people in there, and they're just like all indie creators and stuff, just doing their own grind.
Nice.
But they're also hilarious people. There's some trolls in there too. So
Yeah.
I'll get you in there.
Sounds good. Heck yeah.
But, yeah, I appreciate having you on.
It
Yeah,
was
thanks
great
for having me.
talking to you.
Yeah, you as well. It was really good to finally meet you.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, let's do a part 2 soon when
You bet.
yeah, soon. Whenever you can.
Mhm.
We'll work it out.
Hit me up. Yeah, keep in touch.
All right, 2 hours from now. Maybe nap and no.
Hey, take a quick nap.
We need
Hop
sleep
back
so
on.
bad. It's been a day.
Yeah, it's been quite the day, and we
Quite
still got
the
to stream,
day.
man. Well, why don't you go ahead and send me your schedule when you hop off here, like when you're free, basically what days are the most free or whatever, what times, and we can just schedule accordingly. That way I'm not just like hitting you up all the time.
Groovy.
Yeah, and we'll go from there.
I can dig it.
Have a wonderful night, and if anyone made it this far, there's 2 people.
Yeah,
There's
somebody I saw it pop up to 3 for a second, and they realized we were
Amazing.
winding down, I think. So
Well, yeah, we really appreciate you guys, and don't forget to like and sub to that pub.
mhm.
And every time that people mention their works in here, it's definitely worth checking out. Our creator friends are second to none, for real. The Iron Age is coming up, and you're foolish to not look into that.
The Iron Age of indie creators.
It's a force to
Yeah.
be reckoned with, and you're all about to find out.
But yeah, we'll have M3tro on future ones. I'm gonna let him get
Yeah.
some sleep here.
Yeah. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, you have a
You
good night,
too.
brother.
Thanks, man.
You too.
Bye. And I'm author AC Pritchard. You can find me on Twitter at AndyAsFuck. I'm currently working on comics, adapting my stories into comics. You can find my first debut novel, Mortal Descent, on Amazon, amazon.com/author/AC Pritchard. It is fantasy pulp worthy of the Iron Age, and there's 3 separate stories there. Each story revolves around a character who like rises to the occasion. And there's themes of family in there and lots of symbolism and stuff. So check it out. Where can they find you, babe?
Moonzilla Tarot on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call that, and Facebook, also Moonzilla Tarot. On TikTok, I am M3tro. And that's it for now, really. You don't need to find me. Just kidding. If you want to do a tarot reading, I highly suggest getting one. It's worth it. And if you can't afford it, I will always work with you, because my main goal is not to make money. It is to be a healer of sorts, and it's very therapeutic and worth your while. I've been doing it for over a decade professionally, and it still blows my mind on a daily basis. And what else was I going to say? Sorry, I have a headache. It's been a crazy day, like I said. But I was going to say something. Maybe. I don't know. But you can find me there. I'll be around.
All right.
It's good times. I don't know. Just end the stream.
And with that,